Thank you so much, Mark. That was unbelievable. So I'm going to call up Rabbi Barbara. Oh, there she is.
I want to welcome all of you to our Temple Israel Community Brunch program. Today we have much to celebrate. Cantor Rochelle Nelson sends her best to all of you. While she had planned to join us today, her new grandson had other plans, and he was born last Sunday morning. So today, Samuel Harrison Yaras is having his Brit Milah, and as we are celebrating here, she is celebrating with her family, and we know that those kind of things take precedence. So she sends her love, and we will share our love with her at other times. I'd like to share a story with you this morning about 3 passengers on a ship. They're setting out for a distant shore, and one shows the others that he has jewels, and they plan to sell them when they arrive, and that will put them in good stead. Another one shows very luxurious cloth that they know will finance their future, and another shows their books. So sure enough, a storm destroys the boat, and when they arrive ragged, the first 2 are desperate, but the third is cheerful. Why? Because everything in those books is in their head and their heart. Because they will be welcomed into a Jewish community and will be able to support themselves, because learning lasts forever. We have been part of Temple Israel, learning, praying, doing, experiencing, and welcoming others together, standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before us. We carry this legacy in us and with us as we venture forth. Today, we honor the legacy, celebrate our being together with one another, and we honor those who have given of themselves to support and lead Temple Israel over the years. Today is the 35th day of the Omer. In the Kabbalistic Omer framework, today is the flow of gratitude. Shechina Shebechod, apropos for our gathering today. The earth is filled with glory, our lives are filled with goodness. As we notice the blessings and we give thanks, we create a dwelling place for the Most High. I want to suggest a practice for you, for each of us, for today. It's good for any day. Let Moda Ani, for the men, Moda Ani, I am grateful, be the first words we say upon awakening. And then throughout the day, pause 10 times and offer gratitude. Give thanks for the food you eat, and we had beautiful food, yummy food today, for a beautiful sight or a sound. Offer praise for an insight, a moment of connection, a moment of love. End the day by saying, I am grateful for, and you can fill in the blank for yourselves. In Psalm 135, it says, offer praise for all that is. Stand in service and offer praise. Be in each moment and offer praise, and let your soul sing. Feel all the goodness and offer praise. Temple Israel on 19th Street will continue as our legacy, charting a different path forward as a vibrant center for Jewish life for Miami. We can stay connected to one another beyond this space. Shari will be spending more time and speaking more about this vision later. But for right now, today, we are thankful once again that we can be together here and for what we have shared. We thank God for being together with the Shehechianu prayer, and I invite you to join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. One long amen. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us life and sustained us, enabling us to come together in this moment.
Okay. So one of the next pieces of our mourning is to honor the past. And we're going to be honoring our past presidents, those who have come before us to lead the congregation. And before we do that, I just want to say that Norma Orovitz, who is here with us today, along with Henry Wolf, who is not in the room with us today, today is their birthday, which is awesome. But in addition to that, today is the founding day of Temple Israel, May 18th, 1922. So it was a Beshert moment. It was a Beshert moment for this annual meeting to fall on this day, and that May 18th was a Sunday this year. That worked out very nicely. So as you continue to enjoy some food, there is dessert, and there is a beautiful cake in the back that says, "Happy birthday, T.I., Henry, and Norma." I also know that today there was a ton of birthdays on May 18th from our community. Another past president, Jack Schillinger, who was in there. I know that even Peter Bermont's mother and mother-in-law had their birthdays today. And Uma Friedman, who is Lior's daughter, it's her birthday today. And my niece's birthday today. So it is unbelievable what May 18th can bring. So we're very excited to be able to celebrate that. So let's start to call the past presidents up. So did you want to say something? Or okay. So we're going to call the past presidents to please come up and join us, and then we're going to take a picture. So what we'd like, I don't know if we can all fit up here. Should we do it to the side? Or maybe right?
Probably to the side is going to be better.
Okay, so what we're going to do, when we call the past presidents up, we're going to ask you to come over here to the side, and then we're going to take a picture. Okay. So this is not in any particular order. Julia Zayas. I'm going to mention the names of all the past presidents that are still with us but may not be here. So Henry Wolf, Mark Teitelbaum, Jerry Schwartz, I'll come over to this mic. We're going to go back here. Michael Silver, Joan Schaefer, Jackie Greenberg, Candace Ruskin, Lance Harkey, Norma Orovitz, Michael Orovitz, Doug Jacobs, Jane Kahn Jacobs, Ben Cuny, Marcia Elzer, Peter Bermont. Yeah, so I'll give it to you. And Howard Goldstein. All right, so Monica is our VP of Marketing and Communications for the board, so she's gonna have you guys come shift this way so the trees. And Mark Lamb, I'd like to have you join the picture. Hold on, Mark's getting in there too. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you to all of the presidents, current and past, for giving of yourselves and doing what you could to help the congregation on its journey. I'd like to ask the members of the Temple Israel Board of Trustees to please come forward. The members of the current Board of Trustees, if you'll please come forward. Yeah, I think. I mean, we're a smaller group, maybe. The current Board of Trustees would be over here. Okay. Okay. Each of you stepped up to give your time and your energy and your dedication in service to Temple Israel. Thank you for your unwavering commitment, for your serious attention to fiduciary. Well, you're not done yet. Please don't sit down. It was not just for a photo op, I promise. Okay. Thank you for your unwavering commitment, for your serious attention to fiduciary responsibilities, and for your thoughtful stewardship of our congregation during this pivotal time. Your contributions have been essential to our progress and our resilience. And Shari is going to give each of you a certificate, as well, a small thing of appreciation. We talked about, should we give plaques and framing things? I said, we only have so much wall space, right? So I think you all appreciate the certificate with Temple Israel on it. And thank you all so much for your service. Anything else you would like to add? Please.
So it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with this board through the ups and the downs. And I just want to thank you for supporting me in my work and allowing me to support you in yours. So thank you very much. But I'd like to call Mark Lamb up. So everyone else, thank you so much. You can take a seat. So, okay. Yeah, why don't you go first? Yeah, no, you go first. And then I'll go.
I have the words, she has the stuff. Mark, 3 years ago, you answered the call to serve as president at a particularly challenging moment for our community. The path forward was not easy, as you already said earlier this morning, and yet you never wavered. With steadfast dedication, you led the congregation while staying grounded to your Jewish values and your deep concern for others. What has been especially striking is how, while you remained fully engaged in the operations and governance of Temple Israel, you managed to embrace so many other roles, not only in all the aspects of future exploration, but leading Joseph's Table, reading Torah during high holidays, the Book of Esther on Purim, and teaching adult education classes and staying connected and being at services, engaged nearly weekly as well. You guided us through a time of deep exploration, helping us navigate uncharted territory. You worked to understand the evolving needs of our members, and you brought clarity to complex decisions. You helped us set priorities, consider all available options, and ultimately to come together around a new and promising direction for Temple Israel on our 19th Street campus. Mark, your leadership has left an indelible mark on our community, and for that we are grateful.
Okay, so the first item that we have to give Mark, as all the past presidents know, is his official picture that goes on the wall upstairs. So I know that this has been a long time coming, and he has his 3 years listed there, but Mark will continue with us as the chair of our board. So that's one. And Mark, this is the plaque that we hope that you place somewhere in your home, in your office. It says, "In gratitude to Mark Lamb, President of Temple Israel of Greater Miami 2022 to 2025, with deep appreciation for your visionary leadership, unwavering dedication, and heartfelt service to our community." And one more item, and this is from the congregation and the board to Mark. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to unwrap it and show you. So we know that Mark loves Torah and loves to be part of Saturday morning services and reading of Torah. So Mark, we have purchased for you, hold on, get it open, a beautiful yad. And so you can think of us every time that you read Torah. Here, come in here. Over here.
What's going to say? That's beautiful. Thank you so much. What a perfectly, a gift that I actually wouldn't have thought of giving to anybody. That's really, really wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Rabbi, thank you for what you said as well. And that's a great shot. Glamour shot. Thank
Glamour
you.
shot.
Yes.
Glamour shot, for sure.
I'm going to speak a little later, so,
Yeah, you're good.
so I'm going to give it back to you guys. Thank you again so much, everybody.
So now we want to honor the staff of Temple Israel, but first we need to go back a little bit. If you have ever been employed by Temple Israel, we'd love for you to stand in place and we'd love to honor you. There's many of you in the room who have worked at TI, whether it was in the religious school, the office, our Zoom coordinator. We've had plenty that have worked with us, and we just want to take a moment to honor everybody who's done so. So in particular, we have two, I would say, they've become part of the family. You know, there are people who participate with us weekly, and they're just part of the furniture, right? They're people who are here every week, and we can count on them every single week. So I want to take a moment, and we want to thank Pat Seymour. Pat, come on up. So Pat has been part of our Shabbat services and all of our, any sort of spiritual service that we've had here, playing the piano. And we just cannot thank Pat enough for his dedication, and we want to thank you. And we're very excited that he will be continuing in the community, taking another role at another synagogue to be able to continue his beautiful music. Thank you, Pat. And I know that I was not here during the heart of COVID, but I also know that none of what happened here could have been done without Maria Ayerbe. And Maria is the one who created all of the back end for everything related to Zoom and streaming and made it all amazing and seamless. So Maria, if you can come up, we'd love to honor you and thank you. Maria and her team sit every single service in the little booth with the headphones on, making sure that the streaming that you all receive is perfect, and we just can't thank you enough.
And helping us untangle our microphone.
That is true. And making sure to wave you down if you didn't turn your mic pack on. You're like, you can't hear you. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you so much.
We want to ask all of the current staff members to please come forward because we want to honor all of you, and we'll mention each of you separately. But if you'll please come up, those who are in the office, those who are taking care of the whole building for us, so that Alana and Helen and Isabel and, I'm sorry? Jeannie and Lewis and Wisley. So come on up. Let you come up this way and then we'll.
Yeah, come on, guys, come.
Some of the people are behind the scenes, some you see, but if it wasn't for all of them, we couldn't do any of what we were able to accomplish. And also, with under the able guidance of Shari, has helped us to become quite a formidable team.
So I think it's known that you can't be part of a team unless they want to be together and work together. And I can tell you that this group, we have a great bond. We love our Tuesday morning staff meetings, and we love when we're all together. And it's really been a pleasure working with this group. Now, this group is staying on board. We will be here continuing to work, and as you know, we have a lot of obligations over the next year. So we are glad to be able to have this group continuing with us. But especially, I want to make a note that our maintenance team is the best there is. Now I'm crying. They are amazing. They take care of this place like it's their own. This is their home. And we could not do what we do without them. I couldn't do what I do without them. They're amazing. And they've been here for like over 20 years, more. And we love them. They're our family. So thank you to all of you. Thank you. And one more note. So some of us have been here for a few years, right? But Isabel has been here for how long now? 23 years. And her institutional memory of this place is beyond anything. She can tell you absolutely anything about anyone at any time. And again, this team is just, we couldn't do it without this team, and I can't thank everybody enough. We, been able to, Helen and I have actually passed ships in the night at other congregations, so it's kind of funny that we ended up being able to work here together. And Alana just joined our team last year, and I can't thank Lior enough. Lior, with our operations and communications, and knowing that he's handling all of the issues with the building at all times has just been amazing. Again, for me, I can focus on the things that I need to do knowing that he's taking care of the property. Even with the middle of the night phone calls of the fire alarm or the burglar alarm or any other alarm that decides it wants to go off at 1 a.m., he takes that call. And I can't thank him enough for his dedication. And also, Lior taught in the religious school for many years. So he has been a huge part of this congregation. And I just want to say that it's been such a joy to work with Rabbi Barber for the last couple of years. We've made a really good team. It's not easy coming in as an interim, and I really appreciate everything that you've been able to do. And for Cantor Nelson, who is not here at the moment, obviously celebrating with her family, her and I go way back, and we worked together since 2005. And I absolutely adore working with her and having her a part of this community. And when I started here and having her here, it felt like I was already here forever because it was somebody that I had, had standing by me for a long time. So again, to the staff, thank you so much for absolutely everything. We can't do any of this without you. Thank you. Oh, hold on. Jeannie wants to make a speech.
really cannot turn my back not to say thanks to all of you guys. Every one of you here. Thank you. Thank you. If you want to know how I start with Temple Israel, I start with one day. It was on a Friday only. Every Friday, I have to come from the airport, pick up my children from school, come here for the oneg. One day. Then I become it part-time. After the part-time, full-time. So I don't know how far I'm going with you guys. As long as you still love me. And I love you too, guys. Thank you very much.
So here we have Lior. Pass that to Lior, please. Louis, James. Wesley, this is yours. Oh, that's Lior, yeah. That's Lior. Wesley.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. So there's two more people that I want to thank, and again, similar to what Mark Nedlin said in the beginning, this is not everybody, but this is who has been part of our dedicated team really for the last couple of years. And every single Tuesday and Thursday, you can count on Scott Wenders coming into the office and volunteering his time. And Scott, I know you're here. Scott, please come on up. Yeah. Scott is a dedicated volunteer like a job. He does not miss a Tuesday or Thursday, and if he's not going to be here, he calls in and tells us why. So we are so appreciative of Scott and everything that he has done. Scott, thank you so much. Thank you. And the other volunteer who was not able to make it today is Beverly Morshenson. Bev comes in every single week, and she helps to stuff the yahrzeit letters and any other mailings that have to go out. And we want to just thank Bev for all of her dedication. She gets in an Uber, she gets here, and she makes sure that she brings her breakfast and sits with us, and we can schmooze a little bit before she starts her volunteer day. So we just want to thank Bev as well.
So next, I want to honor three people, and I'll tell you who they are up front, so you don't have to wait to each one. But so I want to give a special honor to Rabbi Barbara, Cantor Nelson, and Mitch Sheffitz. First, I want to thank Rabbi Barbara for the wonderful job she's done here in the last 2 years that she's been here. Now, you heard people said this before. Rabbi Barbara was hired as an interim rabbi. Nevertheless, she has never seemed to be anything other than our actual established rabbi, our spiritual leader in every way. Rabbi Barbara came to a congregation that needed healing, a congregation that was struggling to find the path forward. We had had 3 rabbis in the last 7 years and numerous executive directors. We had gone through COVID, which devastated us by stopping in-person services for over a year and broken long-standing synagogue attendance. We lost over 100 member families in 4 years. We were clearly off the derech, as they say, off the path, and lost in many ways. Rabbi Barbara, luck would have it, or fortuitously, was the perfect rabbi we could have asked for, who we could have hired during these difficult years. With her calm, quiet intelligence, and her kind, assuring manner, she was able to heal wounds and restore those who felt abandoned and unheard. Her energy and spirit never flagged. I remember her saying with her Midwestern practicality, "No, you don't have enough children for a religious school, but you do have a very robust and engaged post-bar mitzvah group. Why don't we invest in what we have, not what we don't have?" So Rabbi Barber created a vibrant post-bar mitzvah program, bar and bat mitzvah, I should say, b'nai mitzvah program, that culminated this year with an incredible Washington, D.C. trip and a dynamic confirmation class, which we haven't had here in quite some time, many years actually. So Rabbi Barber has done more than just teach. She has nurtured young Jewish people who are now engaged and passionate. What a wonderful legacy she leaves us with in only 2 years. Thank you, Rabbi Barbara. Our decision to ask Cantor Rochelle Nelson to continue at Temple Israel these last 2 years, even though our financial situation was difficult, but I'm so glad that we did. The reason we gave, this is a board decision actually, the reason we gave was for continuity. We felt that the synagogue couldn't withstand any more clergy changes. What Cantor Nelson gave us was more than just continuity. She gave us everything she had, her expertise, her passion, her energy. This was never just a gig for Cantor Nelson. This was her life, and we all felt that. And she didn't come alone. She brought us a wonderful group, a trio of young talents that she's been, her projects, that she's been mentoring, who have really added energy and charm to our services. We are so grateful for Cantor Nelson. I wish she had been here, but we are so grateful for her. Now, Mitch Chaffetz, you all may know him. Maybe some of you don't. I don't know if you don't, but most people probably do. Famously, doesn't want to be called Rabbi Mitch Chaffetz. So we all go along with that. Okay. Maybe he's right. He's more than a mere rabbi. I wasn't here when Mitch was the senior rabbi. However, his stint as senior rabbi was legendary, I would say. Everyone I met when I first came to Temple Israel spoke of Mitch and all he had done at Temple Israel, how he had revitalized the temple, how he had revitalized the services, how he had revitalized Torah study. No one at Temple Israel had seen anyone quite like him. During his rabbinate, the temple started to grow. His Torah study at Joseph's Table became a must-attend event for the community as well as for our members. And even after he was no longer the official rabbi, his influence never waned. And his visionary ideas have never seemed more relevant and prescient. There is a strong chance that many of his ideas about the possibilities for the future of Judaism on this campus will be realized. That Mitch is a scholar, we all know that. Some of my most favorite moments at Temple Israel was studying with him, learning with him in a one-on-one chavruta on Sunday mornings when he was here as he was actually here as an interim rabbi. But he is also a Baal Mitzvot, a man dedicated to mitzvot and the Jewish community. He has continued to advise and serve Temple Israel with his guidance and his brilliance. Thank you, Mitch, for all you've done for Temple Israel. I am proud and honored to consider you both a mentor and a friend. Your service to Temple Israel is but one of your enduring legacies, but we are eternally grateful for it. Thank you. They're going to do the honors with the gifts.
We are honoring Mitch especially today because this is the 50th anniversary of his ordination from Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion. And so that was the other reason, and he agreed to be honored, though he doesn't love to be up in this front anymore. But we are so thankful that you let us share in this milestone with you today. So thank you.
At age 84, 50 years out from the Hebrew Union College, I am either a revered elder or an alta kaka. It depends on entirely how you see me with shot of the corn. Let me share with you a few things that are happening in my life. I continue to learn. How could that stop? I continue to write. I continue to publish. All that would be expected. Let me share this. Every few weeks, I get a call out of the blue from a Jewish community in distress. Sometimes it's a large congregation in a metropolitan center, sometimes a remote area of New England or Ohio, and they want to know from me what they can do to restore their community. Now, two things. There are so many communities in distress, not only Jewish progressive communities, but religious progressive communities across denominations. And the question is, why me? And the answer is, as Mark just shared, there was a 10-year period where we did just that. We had a Jewish community in sharp decline. We reversed it. And there were certain principles involved in that reversal. And people somehow seemed to know that. Articles were published about that. And I do what I can for them. I listen to the situation, give them advice, tell them who to contact, and then I say, you're already too late. The paradigm has shifted. That is what worked for us 20 years ago when Wally and I made a decision, instead of my pursuing a career as a novelist, to return to the rabbinate. Won't work anymore. Your Jewish life will work, but it will work in a different format, a different paradigm, different structures, and one has to be open to that. It doesn't mean you can't continue as a community. Of course you can continue as a community. It doesn't mean that you can't get together for services, if not in that place, another place. Of course you can do that. It doesn't mean that you can't continue learning Torah. Of course you can do that. It's just that the paradigm and the way in which one does it will be different, and to be open and receptive of those differences. The future for this community is extraordinary. As Mark suggested, I remember Peter Beaumont and I and others from the community 15 years ago talked about what Temple Israel and Federation will accomplish together. It will come into being. It will become a standard, a beacon in the southern part of this country for what can be done. It's simply such an extraordinary opportunity and challenge that this community faces. And I look forward to being here in several years for the ribbon cutting. Peter, too. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So now I look forward to introducing you to Shari to give us a presentation about the joint venture. And
First, I'm going to go.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Oh, you are?
You're still
Okay.
introducing me to introduce them. Okay, so now we're going to have a presentation from Shelley Nicely Groff, who is the president of the Union for Reform Judaism, and we are blessed to have her here in our community. And she will be able, do you want me to show the video first, or do you want to speak? Okay, so we're going to have a video from Rabbi Rick Jacobs. He is the rabbi of the URJ, and so we're going to see a presentation from him first, and then Shelley will speak.
Temple Israel of Greater Miami, I send you my blessing and my support and strength at this critical moment in your long and distinguished history. Founded in 1922 And having served the community not only of Miami, but of South Florida for over 100 years with such distinction and with such impact. And as you literally begin the process in the coming weeks of sunsetting this great congregation, I'm sure there are a lot of very mixed emotions, but I want to say to you, kol hakavod, all strength to you for the way in which you have impacted literally tens of thousands of Jewish lives. You've given so many generations of our people not only an understanding of Judaism, but a practice of vibrant, meaningful Jewish life. You've shaped some of the bigger issues of South Florida because of the pulpit and the strength of your commitment to social justice and civil rights and standing against the war in Vietnam. So many examples of the courage and the convictions of your members and your rabbis and leaders. I am sure also, as you think about all of these wonderful years that you were the largest congregation in Miami, at one point with 1,800 households, and to look at the beautiful building and the community. Jewish life is about changing and adapting to new circumstances and new situations, and your courageous decision to sunset Temple Israel of Greater Miami is an example of leadership. And let me just tell you that all of the good that you have done through the decades, it doesn't disappear. It remains. And I want you to know that your Reform movement celebrates you, honors you, and loves you, and sends you our vital and vibrant commitment to a Jewish future that will continue to grow in South Florida. Look at South Florida today. There's so many congregations, and there's so much strength. You were the trailblazers in making that happen. So as we say at the end of a book of study, or maybe after 103 years of Jewish life, chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek, be strong, and continue to strengthen one another as we cherish you and celebrate you this day. May God watch over this wonderful community, and may we continue to go from strength to greater strength.
So, even though I said go ahead and show the video, I have to share. There's a piece of wisdom that is passed on every 4 years from one URJ board chair to the next, and that is try never to speak after Rabbi Jacobs. So I'm going to do my best. But really, I'm going to do my best because it's an honor to be here in person on behalf of the URJ, on behalf of our Reform movement, and especially personally, to honor Temple Israel of Greater Miami. We honor the lasting impact, the vital legacy that you, all of you, your lay leaders, clergy, professional staff, and most importantly, congregants, what you have created here in this sacred space that will indeed live on long into the future. Several years ago at a URJ biennial, I think you might have been there, Rabbi Jacobs introduced the term audacious hospitality. And it referred to a community culture and an environment within and throughout a congregation that goes beyond what we often call warm and welcoming. It meant being intentional, being proactive, making sure that everyone who enters our congregations and our spaces know that they are with their people, they're with family. And as he described the concept from the stage, I immediately thought of Temple Israel of Greater Miami. Because this beautiful community has been and is just that, whatever the occasion, wherever it is taking place on this campus, whoever is leading it. In my role as URJ chair, I have the good fortune to experience many different congregations all over North America, and I can honestly say nobody, and I mean nobody, does welcoming quite like Temple Israel. This community is a model to strive for when we think of what it means to be a Jewish community, where all are welcome as and for who they are, to be together and in being together to nurture each other. And even as you embark on this transition and what happens on and in this sacred space changes, that is forever a legacy of this extraordinary congregation, this extraordinary community. I honestly do not remember a time during which I didn't know Temple Israel. I was born in Miami. I grew up in North Miami Beach. Everybody knew Temple Israel. About 34 years ago, when I was expecting my son, it was Temple Israel that gave me a place to celebrate Shabbat on the radio. Every Friday night, I listened to Shabbat services from my home. It was the first time in my life that I regularly experienced a Shabbat service. And thus I felt the beauty of the rhythm of Shabbat and those prayers, those blessings that are the core of our Jewish observance. And I recall later coming here in person, just coming to pray on Shabbat morning, and so quickly feeling like I was among friends, I started coming every week. And I will always remember with gratitude, I wrap up with gratitude, you're so right, that phone call that I received one day. I had missed a few weeks due to travel and family obligations and other things. And I got a call asking if I was okay because I hadn't been here in a while. I felt so noticed. I felt seen. That small gesture, that kindness, that evidence of authentic care touched my soul. And to me, that's Temple Israel of Greater Miami. And at the same time, while nurturing community inward, this congregation's vision extended outside these walls, outside this campus. As Rabbi Jacob spoke of, you led the way in South Florida to not just be Jewish, but to live Jewish values every day, whether it's hosting early South Florida interfaith meetings, establishing the first Head Start program, speaking out for civil rights, and bringing our Jewish values to the context of the Vietnam War. Miami is a stronger, more compassionate, better community because of this congregation's foresight and leadership and values. Now, I learned that while every congregation is unique and is special, and they are, there are commonalities and there are trends. And as Rabbi Mitch spoke of, we know that a trend in religious life in this country, not just in Reform Judaism, not just in Judaism, but in all religious life, is a different type of belonging than what I might call traditional congregational membership. People want to belong to something, to be part of a community, absolutely. Those communities aren't always congregations. Things are changing. And to state the obvious, right, change is hard. What you are doing is really hard. There are so many emotions in this room today. Of course there are. How could there not be? And an observation I need to make is this. Even as you, our beloved Temple Israel, are in the midst of this really difficult change, being the congregation that you are finding a way to keep these holy grounds a sacred Jewish space for the benefit of current and future generations. You could have decided to just close shop, sell the property, move on. And I've seen any number of congregations do that, sadly. Folks move away, the next generation decides to do Jewish differently, families move, times change, neighborhoods change, how people gather changes. There's so many reasons that can happen. And often in communities where that happens, a site that was once a center of vibrant Jewish life, a beloved synagogue, becomes something else. Sometimes it becomes a secular space, sometimes a church, retail, something else. But that's not you. Your board, your leadership, the congregation that you are so Temple Israel of Greater Miami, leading as you always have for the benefit of our community, recognizing the importance of looking into the future and envisioning a Jewish community of belonging in this holy place built on the foundation that you so lovingly created. So although the day-to-day activities here will change, this space that you have built and nurtured as a congregation for 103 years will always be the home of the congregation that inspired, led, and nurtured so many. Chazak, chazak, v'ni chazek, be strong, and let us, the Miami Jewish community, strengthen each other. Toda Rabbah. Thank you, Temple Israel.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going to present to all of you the joint venture that we have with the Greater Miami Jewish Federation. But first, I want to thank Michelle Labgold, who is in the back. She's waving her hand. Yeah, you can, it's okay, you can, no, just push them back a little bit maybe. Michelle is the Chief Planning Officer of the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, has been an integral part of where we are right now, and I thank her for being here, I thank her for her support, and we're lucky to have you in our community. So whether you've been part of Temple Israel for decades, recently joined our community, or are simply here as a friend and supporter, your presence means a great deal. And as many of you know, Temple Israel of Greater Miami has been a spiritual home and the cornerstone of Jewish life in this city since 1922. For over 100 years, the congregation has gathered here on 19th Street to pray, learn, and celebrate and support one another through every chapter. Today, I'm honored to share what that next chapter will hopefully look like. While Temple Israel will officially sunset on June 30th, the story is far from over. In fact, we are now laying the foundation for an exciting new future. Temple Israel has entered into a joint venture partnership with the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, a partnership that will ensure the historic campus remains a vibrant center of Jewish life for generations to come. A recent Federation study found that this part of Miami is one of the fastest growing areas for young adults. And with Jewish day school enrollment in Miami-Dade County already 4 times the national average, the desire for more Jewish spaces, educational, cultural, and spiritual, is strong and clear. So what are we planning to build together? You can see on one of this sign, I think, yes. While plans are still evolving, here's what the joint venture envisions. A Jewish day school for middle and high school students from diverse Jewish backgrounds. Currently, this does not exist in Miami-Dade County. If you want your child to have a Jewish education past 5th grade, the only options are Orthodox schools for middle and high school. A new headquarters for Federation and potential other office spaces for Jewish organizations. Multifamily housing, including affordable options for nonprofit professionals, and a multi-use space for community gatherings from holiday celebrations to meetings, concerts, and simchas. We're not just creating a place to gather, but a place to live, work, learn, and to connect as a Jewish community right here on 19th Street. To help bring this vision to life, there's been an established, dedicated team working on real estate, school planning, programming, and a capital campaign. We are committed to honoring Temple Israel's legacy throughout this entire process. That includes preserving our memorial plaques, dedication bricks, archives, religious items with great care and intention. We've also received many thoughtful questions about the joint venture and how it will work. I'm going to take a moment and address some of the frequently asked questions. First, are we giving everything to Federation? The answer is no. This is a partnership. The rights and responsibilities of both Temple Israel and Federation are being defined in a formal joint venture agreement, or something called a JVA. This is not a handover, it's a carefully structured collaboration. Second, what exactly is Temple Israel contributing? Temple Israel will only contribute the property to the joint venture if specific benchmarks are achieved. These benchmarks will be finalized and no property will be transferred until that time. Third, how are we protecting ourselves if things do not go as planned? If the benchmarks are not achieved, the property will not be conveyed. If they are achieved and the property is transferred, the legal documents will include a reverter clause. This ensures that if the joint venture fails to proceed as agreed, the property will revert back to Temple Israel of Greater Miami Incorporated. Fourth, what is Federation contributing to the joint venture? Federation will be contributing many of the upfront costs to the joint venture. These funds will be used to repay existing Temple Israel obligations, including mortgages, advances, and supporting early-stage operations of the joint venture. Fifth, What happens to the Narrett Fund? The Narrett Fund will be repaid through the joint venture, but it will remain independent and separate from the joint venture. Sixth, what about member benefits? We've been asked whether current or past members receive any direct financial benefits from a partnership. The answer is no, but here's why. Temple Israel is a nonprofit religious institution. Legally and ethically, a nonprofit cannot distribute financial assets to individuals. Instead, all of our resources are being directed toward a collective legacy, creating the long-term sustainable Jewish life on the campus. Seventh, how will the community stay informed as this unfolds? We are committed to transparency. There will be a dedicated landing page on the Temple Israel website along with the Federation website with regular updates. Federation has a broad communication reach to this community, and they will also help to keep the wider community informed. Temple Israel has always been about community, and this next chapter will be too. We are honoring our past by building a bright and meaningful Jewish future. Thank you for being part of what's next. So, if there are any questions regarding the joint venture, I'm happy to answer them. Norma, let me bring a microphone to you. Hold on.
Thank you. So what happens to the Bertha Abbas Sanctuary and the Gumanik Chapel?
Great question. So that's a great question. So we are currently in an assessment with Richard Heisenbottle and his architectural team. We are determining the viability, let me come back up here. We are determining the viability of the structural spaces. As I've mentioned in many meetings previously, and I know I even mentioned it this morning, we do have a lot of deferred maintenance issues within the buildings. So we're doing everything to determine what can be saved, what cannot, and what the cost is going to be. So we will have a fully done assessment on the Bertha Abbas Sanctuary at the end of May. And then by the end of June, we will have a full cost construction analysis of how much it will cost to restore and what it will cost for maintenance as the future progresses, because we don't want to be in a position again where we can't afford to keep it during its legacy. So no other decisions have been made at this time. And right now, we're just doing our assessments of the physical plant to determine, and we'll bring that to the joint venture for conversation. I want to just take, yes, hold on one second. I want to take one more time to mention that the joint venture is made up of members from the Federation, but on the Temple Israel representation is myself, Mark Lamb, Peter Bermont, and Jane and Leonard Abbas. They are all sitting on the joint venture for us to be having these discussions. Who's next? Ian? Oh, perfect. Thank you.
What is the purpose of the Narrett Fund having approximately $5 million? And what are they going to do with it?
Well, the Narrett Fund doesn't have $5 million at this point. Right now, it's only 1.33.
I know, but they will have $5 million when everything's paid back.
Yeah, about 4. It's about 4.
Okay.
But the Narrett Fund is a separate 501c3. So the Narrett board, under the leadership of Peter Bermont, they will be meeting to discuss the changes to their bylaws and what they do. But Temple Israel of Greater Miami actually has no control over the Narrett Fund because it is a completely separate entity. It's a separate 501c3. So they will determine their new mission in alignment with Temple Israel of Greater Miami Incorporated, the joint venture, and the future of the property. But I wouldn't be able to give you any more information but you can speak to Peter directly about that. But it is a separate 501c3. That's how it was created.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leslie?
I was just curious. I know a lot of organizations currently use this facility for their meetings. I know that we've talked about that it's at least a year till anything gets destroyed or destructed or whatever, and then enhanced, of course. So what is that plan? Are those organizations still invited to continue here? I know they're important organizations in Dade County.
So as we work towards what July 1 will look like in terms of our budget, we still, we're still in the negotiating phases with Federation. So we still have to maintain our own budget, and we still have to maintain our own finances. So we will still have the Funding Arts Network and Brickell Literary Society, Prologue, a lot of those organizations who come here to have their luncheons. Those will continue for next year. But we are doing everything we can to mitigate the expenses that we have, because even with the congregation sunsetting and all the expenses related to running a congregation, as well as all of the expenses that it takes just to run the building. So when you bring in all of the rental income, that's what we'll have next year, we still have a deficit of over $300,000. And that does not include capital expenditures. So please remember that as we have rainy season and other issues, we are constantly trying to Band-Aid as much as we can, because we have an obligation to our leaseholders to make sure that they have a building that is maintained, especially when we have 430 children every day for school. So they will be allowed here. That is needed income. But again, we are reducing our expenses as much as we can in order to make sure that we are running streamlined, even with a deficit of over 300,000 or so. Yes, Carla, I think Rabbi has a microphone.
So I'm curious about community input into the final planning. For example, I had been hearing about the proposed possible Jewish high school. And in the spirit and the legacy of Temple Israel, I would, as a community member of Miami-Dade County, wish to see a school that would serve the poorest folks in our county, who are right around the corner, alongside whoever's Jewish that wants to come. Wouldn't it be great if we proposed an interfaith high school whose mission was to work on peace, civility, lack of war, and not separation of religion from public? So I just wonder, will there be community input to make that decision?
Thank you, Carla. So on the landing page of the website that I mentioned, there will be an email address. So I think it's jointventure@jewishmiami.org. Again, you can reach out to me, you can shoot me an email, and I can assist with that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna send out a note to our congregation and let them know that if they'd like to have ideas, suggestions, they'd like to be a part of any of these conversations, to please email this joint address that we're sharing in order to gather all of this information. There will absolutely be opportunity for members of this community to participate, to give ideas, and to let us know their thoughts about what could possibly happen here at 19th and 2nd. So yes, absolutely. So again, that's jointventure@jewishmiami.org. Okay. Yes, Patty. Hold on. Wait for the microphone, if you don't mind. Thank you.
While the school is still here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm not a microphone person. While the school is still here next year and you're here, and so is construction going to be going on to fix the sanctuary and different things?
So that's a very good question. So as I mentioned with the Richard Heisenbottle Architecture and their team, we're going to have this assessment done in the next couple of weeks. From there, we'll have a cost analysis done. Then there will be a determination as to what we will do going forward. But while the school is here, if there's anything within that analysis that we have to mitigate in order to make sure that we don't have continued issues with the sanctuary or any other pieces of the building, we will do that as quickly as possible. Again, I mentioned like the rainy season is coming, hurricane season is coming, and if they can tell us that there's certain pieces of the gutter that needs to be fixed so it doesn't have continued water intrusion, then yes, we will do those things. But overall massive construction is not planned while the school would still be on site. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here today.
As we are finishing up today, since Cantor Nelson was not here today, on June 6th, that Friday evening, if you want to honor her, please come that evening, and we will say things for her to hear as well and give her the honor that she deserves too. Thank you and enjoy the day.
Okay. We have some gifts for the staff and for Shari over here, so please take them. Just to maybe to recap, I thought of this has been said, for 103 years, you all know Temple Israel of Greater Miami has stood as a beacon of Jewish life, learning, and love. Within its walls, generations have prayed, celebrated, mourned, and grown. It's been our spiritual home, our gathering place, and the heart of this community, from its iconic Bertha Abbas Sanctuary and Sophia and Nathan Gumenick Chapel. Temple Israel defined Reform and progressive Judaism in South Florida for decades. With extraordinary spiritual leaders, its social justice actions, Temple Israel's influence is unmatched by any other house of worship in Miami. I'd like to take a moment to honor the generations who built and sustained Temple Israel. Their legacy lives on, not in stone or sanctuary alone, but in the values, the relationships, and the impact Temple Israel has had far beyond its walls. But also, on a personal level, for 12 years, Mark and I have had the privilege of being part of this extraordinary community. We came to Miami as strangers in this city. We were diehard New Yorkers. We knew no one. In New York, we didn't even belong to a temple. I don't think together we ever attended one. I went to Orthodox shuls by myself at different times, and he would never go there, and that was about it. At Temple Israel, not only did we find our community, we found life, we found friends, and personally for us, we found purpose. We found a way to serve and give meaning to our life. And the memories that have accumulated for us over these 12 years will never die. Just to remember some of them, I remember Shabbat services bursting with music that tempered an exhausting week. I remember the children gathering helter-skelter on the bima in the sanctuary, singing joyfully Shema Yisrael with all their might. I remember the ethereal High Holy Day choirs led by Alan Mason and Karen Pincus and Rochelle Nelson. I remember the joys of Michael Meltzer's catered holiday dinners served on Temple Israel's elegant china. I remember the best onegs in Miami, as Joel Berger used to say. That seemed, those onegs, they seemed to go on and on in the parking lot, even after the doors closed. As Mark said before, the devastating loss and mourning of friends and loved ones. Well, I've experienced spiritual and intellectual highs in worship and study. The emotional bonds we have forged is the legacy that will remain with us always. And yet, even as we mark this ending, we also look forward to a new beginning. The campus of Temple Israel will not fall silent. Instead, it will evolve. It will continue to be one that serves Miami and the wider Jewish community. It will continue to be a place where Jewish life will flourish in new and exciting ways. Temple Israel's spirit will live on within all of us, real in memory as it was real in life, but will also live on this hallowed campus. So with deep gratitude for the memories, the challenges, and the community, thank you, Temple Israel, for all you have given us. Your impact on my life and so many lives cannot be measured. And thank you all for coming.
Okay. One last note. I'm going to let Peter have the mic.
I was not going to speak today, but I think I have to speak. What has made things look easy and what we have done over the last 3 years under Mark's leadership, you all have no idea what this man has sacrificed in his personal life to lead us through to this new beginning that we are starting. Nobody really knows how it's going to come out. Mitch and I have promised that 10 years from now we're going to cut the ribbon. But without Mark's leadership, without Mark's patience, without Mark's understanding, without Mark's putting up with me, this never would have happened. It never would have happened. His leadership is unbelievable, soft-spoken, iron fist. He made it happen. He's led us through a very, very, very difficult time. With his sidekick, Miss Sherry, who, nothing happens without the two of them. They are really the Bobbsey twins. They made it all happen. And I, for one, am very grateful, A, to be a member of Temple Israel as long as I have, and B, to be on the board with Mark's leadership. I think we all owe Mark and Sherry a round of applause.
Thank you. There's cake and cookies in the back, so please enjoy a little dessert and enjoy each other's company for a little bit longer. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.